like that, we're thick in the middle of the season, guys. Things just went by so quickly, didn't they? They've been getting heated, and I'm enjoying this season's anime. Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan have been as good as they've always been, and I'm so glad they're doing a decent job on Ari Fureta for the second season. Oh, and Princess Connect second season comes with a lot of revelations that I, being a player of the mobile game, got absolutely mind blown by. But today isn't about those big hits that have left their legacies for us to enjoy. Today what I'll be doing is giving a mid-season talk of sorts about some of my favourite new anime. So strap yourselves in and let's look at what I think are the best new anime so far. We start off the list with Love of Kill. Well, here's a show we overlooked a bit in the seasonal preview. Hey, there are so many good and promising shows for a top 10. Anyway, Love of Kill is one interesting show. It revolves around bounty hunter Chateau and her encounter with Asian assassin Son. In a twist of fate, Son also happens to be hunting her down, and the two come into a compromise. In exchange for going out with him, Son will help her out behind the scenes. Now, things get a little bit more complicated when the two are made to face their dark past that come knocking. With no one they can trust, the two may be forced to rely on each other to get through it. Now, this show caught me by surprise. The dynamic between cold tsundere female and the opposite is a tried and true formula, but it never gets old. I also found the level of violence and the way the character dynamics are in the series interesting, but I guess that's to be expected because it is a josei series, a demographic that we don't see in anime that often. If you're up for a romance that's dark and mature, this could be something worth picking up. Up next we have Tokyo 24th Ward. Now, this was one of the shows that I took an interest in entering the season. Tokyo 24th Ward is a new original anime by Cloverworks, and it promised superpowers, drama, and mysteries. You've got an interesting premise with three estranged friends forced to work together to protect the future of their home, the whole dead friend mystery, and superpowers. It even began with a double episode special that sets the tone of the series really well. Then, the pacing slows down, and we get quite a lot of setup before jumping back into the fray with the action. I find the show nice enough, but I can also see why some people feel tuned out by it. Cloverworks, while still being one of the studios I really like, surely hasn't endeared themselves recently with the controversies related to Promised Neverland 2 and Wonder Egg Priority. Now, this looks to be headed towards that direction as well, but I am holding out hope that this will end up being one of the home runs that they pull out this season. After all, they've already got a show that I'm very high on later on this list. We then move on to Genius Prince's Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt. Yay, more kingdom building anime. Now, this isn't to be confused with Realist Hero, no matter how similar the aesthetics may be. Genius Prince is about the titular prince who's an actual genius and one of the best rulers the kingdom of Natra can hope to have. Unfortunately for the constituents, there's nothing that the Genius Prince wants more than to sell the place off to the highest bidder and get rid of it. Even more unfortunately for him though, things seem to conspire against him and selling off the kingdom just gets harder and harder. At least with each failure, you start seeing the kingdom and the citizens for what they are. This is an anime that hits a home run with its comedic timing and surprisingly good character and world building. It seems simple at first glance, but it's anything but that when you start getting into it. I would definitely recommend it. Now, here's a show us older folks can relate to. You get the best of both worlds. Business and salaryman life, as well as the repercussions of super high-stakes badminton matches, grounded in reality, of course. Well, the tale goes that Mikoto Shiratori gets fired from his company after losing a badminton match. And as luck would have it, he wouldn't be idle for long as he gets recruited by another company pretty soon after that. The thing is, Mikoto's not exactly fond of doubles matches, and he's roped into being partners with Tatsuru. Could the pair overcome teeth-clenched teamwork and rise to the top? Another show that I don't blame anyone for overlooking. Salaryman's Club takes a fresh spin on the usual sports anime we've gotten used to seeing. So far, it's given us strong episodes that I've enjoyed, but I'm sure that we're in for some drama to drive the stakes even higher eventually. Before we move on to our next entry, ever had a situation where you wanted to watch the titles I recommend, but you find yourself unable to do it legally? Well, that sounds like a job for everyone's best friend on the go and the sponsors of this video, ExpressVPN. Ever wanted to bypass region locks and watch more anime? Ever wanted to access Facebook or Reddit in places where they're blocked? You know who to call. If you're still not convinced, then hear me out. Want to watch Your Name on Netflix? Just go to ExpressVPN and click on the Australian server and boom! Now you can enjoy Your Name and dozens of other anime movies just like that. You can try it yourself, and it is as easy as it looks. The only thing separating you from watching the next episode of your favorite anime in a foreign country is the click of a button. In addition to bypassing region locks, ExpressVPN also provides outstanding protection from the dangers of the internet. ExpressVPN is here to act as your unbeatable shield against those cyber attacks. To get your super cheap ExpressVPN subscription, just follow the link in the description box or type in expressvpn.com/ViniiTube to get started. Life with an ordinary guy who reincarnated into a total knockout fantasy is up next. Wow, that's quite a mouthful for the title, yeah? And it's another new take on isekai. After all, where else would we find an isekai where the protagonist and his best friend get summoned to another world with the clause that our hero ends up being a complete bombshell of a girl? Tachibana Hinata and said handsome friend Tsukasa now must defeat the demon lord not just to save the world, but also to get him back to his original body. The premise should clue you in already. It's one of those weird Japanese things at first glance, but it ended up being a winner. It's got great comedy owing to the setting, and those expecting a generic isekai will find themselves getting more than what they expected. It's a rom-com isekai that derives its humor from how ridiculous some of the situations are, and it is a load of fun. We continue with the Orbital Children.
お前たちを必ず生かして地球に返してやる。行くぞ!
Here's a Netflix show for you. It tells of a group of children set up to have some fun times in space. However, life has other plans for them, and their adventure gets crashed by an accident. Left with each other and technology, they have to work together in order to overcome the dangers that await them in space. Mysteries abound, and we're given a story that sets us up to root for a ragtag group of children, but I think that it's the art that's most noteworthy. Given the nature of the production, that's also to be expected, and it helps emphasize how we perceive its world. The show is quite immersive as a result on a surface level, but it also contains a lot of themes that can be uncovered once we dig a bit further past the surface. We're talking about meta-commentaries on influencer culture, ethics, and the like. The pacing of Orbital Children can be a little bit hit or miss, but it's overall a beautifully drawn series that has some relevant themes that people might enjoy and relate to. Next up is Akebi's Sailor Uniform. Comfy, slice-of-life anime with cute girls is a genre that doesn't go out of flavour. Of course, most of these come with an eye-catching premise to at least get a bit of attention, and in this case, it's our protagonist loving sailor uniforms only to find out that they've been phased out in her school. Still intent on honouring her mum's superb sewing, Akebi decides to keep using the uniform in school, putting her in an odd girl-out situation as she starts meeting new friends and experiencing the wonders of school life with them. Above anything, I give props to this show for its superb attention to detail. With the visual presentation, you can clearly see how much care has been put into creating the show and animating what was just supposed to be cute girls doing cute things. The interactions come off as heartwarming and wholesome, and it's a show like this that we need in these trying times. We can clearly see which show Cloverworks put more effort in terms of the animation, and when it's got some fan service going, the show's all cute, fun, and warm.
私はセーラー服に決めました
I've had great hopes for Rust Eater Bisco coming into the season, and those expectations have been met. When I saw this show, I expected an outrageous, action-filled adventure, and it held up to its end of the bargain big time. The fights are cool and all, but it's the world building where this show shines the most, giving us a nice few episodes to kick off the series and set us into a world that's way different from our own. Yep, you heard that right. We're here for some wild, over-the-top fun. And over-the-top fun is what we get in this ride through a post-apocalyptic world. It's buoyed by the engaging and compelling characters, and as far as production values go, I've got no complaints whatsoever about this show. For Studio Oz's first project, the guys have come up with a winner. Granted, I've not read the source material much, but as an anime-only watcher, I'm thoroughly enjoying the ride. And that, my friends, is always a good sign. Last but not least, we have My Dress-Up Darling. Waifu of the season confirmed? This for me is one of the more unexpected shows to blow up. But on the other hand, was it that surprising given how much of a charismatic beauty Marin is? She really pushes this show about cosplay to newer heights in terms of popularity, but saying that people are watching the show just for Marin is wrong in my opinion. After all, the show also relies on the strength of the lead, Gojo, a very nice lead, a serious and straight-laced guy who serves as the perfect foil for our outgoing girl. Their interactions are fun to watch, and I had such a great time seeing him get pulled pulled by Marin's whims. It's got a lot of fan service, however, so this is likely not something I'd recommend to those not attuned to anime culture. Still, if you're up for a show that's wholesome and romantic underneath all the sexy, then this could be your show of the season. Now we've come to the end of the list. It's been a joy to write, and it's also fun to see how many of these great shows went under the radar during my pre-season video. I'd like to know your favourite amongst these new anime, so head to the comment section and make sure you chime in. If you're interested in connecting directly, you can also hop onto the Discord channel for ViniiTube, as well as check out my Instagram and Patreon. That's it for this video. Stay safe, stay strong, and thank you for watching.